Well, I was waiting to see if anybody was going to break. But it is Wednesday and the red light is on. So you know what that means. Roman Reigns is going to return at SummerSlam, and we are going to find out why. Not to mention, we have a new NXT champion. And who? Say his name with me. Ethan Page. Tiffany Stratton is his Money in the Bank. And guess what, gentlemen? It's going to be survey time with the realness. All that and more. Right after this, let's get it.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes!
That one. My clip play? Is it music playing? Wait for it. I didn't know what happened. Nope.
The music's still playing.
Is it playing?
Yeah.
Okay. And again. Wait for it. Welcome to the Wrestling Realm now. To a deep professional wrestling. Now, you can follow all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm. I am your host, the big dog, the realist himself, the real
big man,
Wayne Allen in the building, and he is your host. Brother Hugh has a third. A to the A to the S, P to the H to the E, 3 to the R to the D in the building, live and in living color. And he's your host, joining us wherever he can, not just any guy, but big guy, Brandon the Guy. And he is your host, Brian H. Waters in the building. Gentlemen, welcome. You guys ready to do the show?
Yes, sir. My coffee. I got my Crystal Light, my water. I'm good.
All right. Well, guess what? I'm sure you will be even better if you head over to WrestlingRealm.com, where you can find all of our Wrestling Realm Now merchandise and apparel. We have t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more. So if you want to support the brand or you want to just show that you're a proud wrestling fan, head over to WrestlingRealm.com, and that's where you can find.
Oh, man. Oh, wait.
What? Did you lose me?
I hear you now.
Oh. Okay, cool. Am I clear? Am I good?
Loud and clear. There you go.
No. All right. Hoodies, mugs, and more once again. Like I said, so head over to WrestlingRealm.com where you can find all of that merchandise as well. Also, if you want some more Wrestling_Realm for all exclusive shows and bonus material. And guess what, gentlemen? I might have an announcement to make about some of this Patreon content, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, with more business to attend to, if you'd like to advertise with the Wrestling Realm, you can do so at WrestlingRealm@gmail.com. So send us an email and put in the subject line advertise. And into that subject line advertise, you can reach out to us and see if you want to, I don't know, maybe spark up some type of partnership. So if you want to promote your show, your business, and more, you can do so with us at WrestlingRealm@gmail.com. And if I didn't mention it before, you can download all of our audio content anytime on Spotify. Isn't that right, Brian H?
Yes, sir. And you can also add comments on Spotify now.
See, look, that's new stuff. Well, gentlemen, it is the summertime, and before you know it, SummerSlam will be right around the corner. But luckily for you all, the Wrestling is here to save you $2. So do yourself a favor and save yourself $20 off any one-time purchase of $50 or more. At where? I'm going to tell you where. SeatGeek.com. Yes, right. They have partnered with us, and we have our own promo code. So use promo code Wrestling for any one-time purchase of $50 or more, and get yourself $20 off your upcoming SummerSlam tickets. Right? SummerSlam is right around the corner. As a matter of fact, Saturday, August 3rd in Cleveland, Ohio. But like I said, tickets are going fast. People can't wait. It's going to be an exciting show. So once again, do yourself a favor. Save yourself $20 off any one-time purchase of $50 or more using our promo code Wrestling Realm. Now, with that being said, you already know what time it is. Season 2 of Championship Culture is live and in living color. And trust me, I'm sure if you're used to listening to us, by now you should know that Championship Culture is the latest and the greatest brand added to the wrestling room as we expand and grow our audience. Created by the belt guy himself, Brandon the Guy, and the super producer, Brother Hugh has the third. Championship Culture is live and literally like strolling through season 2. Before you know it, it's going to be all over. And every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on youtube.com/wrestling realm, playlist Championship Culture. You can catch every episode, every moment, every ounce of championship glory. Now, with that being said, they were out last week, right? It was a holiday, so they took some time off because they got themselves ready just in time. Just in time. You know, brother Brandon, I know you get situated. We were just talking about last week. Everybody missed out on Championship Culture because there was a holiday. But this past Tuesday, when this is being recorded, obviously on Wednesday, Championship Culture was back and in full force with their latest episode. Now, you guys want to talk about what that episode was? I'm sure you do. Now, but you still getting some situated, brother. You want to take the reins and talk about this week's episode of Championship Culture?
Sure. Yesterday we discussed which version of the ROH heavyweight title, the world heavyweight title, was pretty much like what was the best design.
Oh, that's the silver and gold, man.
What you say?
Go ahead. I'm messing with you.
Okay. So we started off. We kicked it off with the silver, which started in 2002. They had the silver look. Then they graduated to the gold plated and went straight on to the gold. And we had a discussion talking about which design and which look felt more prestigious. What felt more important? Is it the silver look? Is it the gold look? Is it the dual plated look when it comes to championship belts, world championship belts? Yeah, quite a good discussion. I'm waiting for Brother Wrealm's notes for sure.
Wow.
Because he was all in the show, disrupting the show yesterday.
Now, see, I sat back and I said, I'm going to go back and watch. I said, I'm going to sit back and watch today. And then the conversation just got going. What was I supposed to do? But if you think that I have notes, you're right. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, God, notes, Brady. I'll just to you now. This week's episode of Championship Culture was near and dear to me because it was a subject that I hold very dear as a professional wrestling. It's about a company that holds its place in professional wrestling history as a fan. In the section of the writers, silver or gold. That was a very interesting discussion, is because we thought about prestige. We thought about what makes a championship a championship. What makes a world title a world title? And that was the basis of the conversation. But guess what? Of course, I couldn't say everything I wanted to say, but as usual, like I said, I've got plenty of notes. So let me jump right in. Look at Brother Brandon got here just in time for the notes section. Now, there's a couple of things that you guys broke down the championships in eras, right? You talked about I don't remember exactly what you called it, but you called it the foundation era. Well, the first championship when it came into fruition, you know, obviously Ring of Honor was started by, I believe, Gabe Sapolsky, who was a protege of Paul Heyman, and embarked on this new promotion that kind of embodied the spirit of what ECW was and what it will become. So yeah, and there was a couple of things that I was waiting for you guys to say, but I was like, wait a minute, the belt guys didn't have this conversation yet, so we're gonna have it now. So talk about the first championship for Ring of Honor, the design that's let me just go on the record and say I was never a fan of it. I don't have anything against big silver belts, but I have a certain bias to certain things. But there was a tidbit about this championship that I thought you guys were going to bring up that I didn't hear. So I'm here to bring it up now.
This one?
Most people don't realize this. Yeah, that one, absolutely. Most people don't realize it, but that particular championship was designed and inspired by the UWF Heavyweight Championship. Man, people, oh, shoot. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Am I good still?
Yeah, go ahead.
It sounded like it was breaking up on my end.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Is it me? Is it me?
I'm just hearing you.
Can you hear me, Brian H?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the UWF Heavyweight Championship, which is the Universal Wrestling Federation, right? And what was the Universal Wrestling Federation previously known as? Mid-Southwest Wrestling by Cowboy Bill Watts and his promotion. So that was one of the things that I've signed. So if you're an old timer and you remember the original Ring of Honor World Championship and you wonder why it looks familiar, it's because that silhouette, that shape of the title, especially with the three letters going across, was heavily inspired by the UWF Heavyweight Championship. Like I said, the Universal Wrestling Federation Alliance, formerly known as Mid-South Wrestling. Now they got to the second Ring of Honor Championship, which is this one. So this is obviously the first one. Is this one? Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the one that CM Punk kind of, CM Punk thing, and Brian, Nigel McGuinness, the heavy hitters, the Samoa Joes. But then we get into this era. Now, even though this picture, if you're watching, shows Kevin Steen holding his championship, this was actually the changing of the guard, in my opinion. It's because this was right during the time of the Sinclair Broadcasting era, taking over Ring of Honor officially. But Davey Richards was who I believe Kevin Steen won the title from. Mm-hmm. He was one of the longest reigning Ring of Honor champions of all time. And maybe a bit boring. He represented what the original spirit of Ring of Honor was, pure wrestling. But Kevin Steen comes along, fresh off a suspension by James E. Cornette. And he was we called him Independent Stone Cold, because that was his attitude toward the product. He would show up, do whatever he wanted to do, and he wasn't a traditionalist. Obviously, when you look at him, he wasn't the same. He didn't look like what Ring of Honor was used to pushing, but he entertained the fans to no end, and he was something different. He ushered in that era. But then we get into, like I said, the changing of the guard. I call it the Sinclair Broadcasting Era Championship, which is the absolute greatest Ring of Honor championship in the history of Ring of Honor. I can sit here for an hour and a half discussing this championship. I want to give my notes on this particular championship. This championship represents, to me, the greatest era in Ring of Honor's history. And you say, well, Real, why do you think that is? Well, I'll tell you why. Is because so many things in Ring of Honor's history and in pro wrestling history happened during this era underneath the banner of this particular championship. Gorgeously designed by Reggie Parks and I believe Dave Milligan.
I was gonna say Dave Milligan. Yep, Dave Milligan. The We Came to Compete era, as we called it. The We Came to Compete.
Yeah, they came to compete era. Dave Milligan, like I said, Reggie Parks is a protege. He designed this era of championships, which is to me the absolute greatest Ring of Honor championship of all time. Let me just name some things that went down during this era. We got the return of AJ Styles. We got the return of Samoa Joe. We got the return of Matt Hardy. We got the return of Rhino. We got characters like the announcer Bobby Cruz. We got characters like the referee, the main referee, Todd Sinclair. You've never been to a Ring of Honor show during this era if you didn't hear Bonnie Rubble chants.
Bonnie Rubble, yep.
Managers like Truth Martini, Prince Nana, and so many special moments, obviously. The New Japan partnership. Tag team wrestling being a thing, especially during this time for like 4 or 5 6 years straight. Ring of Honor was one of the few places that actually put on the best tag team wrestling matches. Some of our most special in pro wrestling history has happened during this era. We got Kevin Steen, the birth of him becoming a mega. All the while, nobody knew that. We got Adam Cole's championship brand. We got Jay Briscoe's championship, which was special for more than one reason. Jay Lethal's world championship brand, as well as Cody Rhodes before things would eventually change. So with that being said, I consider the Sinclair Broadcasting era and this championship the greatest era of Ring of Honor history because of all that happened at that time and everything that happened that was housed underneath that particular banner. Now we talk about the next era. Let me see my notes. There's nothing there. Let's talk about the Tony Khan era.
How you going to
That's crazy.
And Golder,
yeah,
where they had to make ROH stars. The bigger and Golder era.
Man.
Okay.
What's your guys' favorite match from that era? No, it's okay. Listen, you're not.
Okay. I was gonna say I would have to say it was bad. I would say not my favorite, but one of the ones that really caught me off guard was Bandito when he won. Because I was like, oh, okay. Didn't know we was going in that direction, but I was like, all right, I was here for it.
Yeah. A lot of cruiserweights holding the championship, but like I said, we're not here to compare apples and oranges. It's not.
And Dalton Castle was entertaining,
but
Dalton Castle was very entertaining.
Castle was a moment. I could appreciate that. Dalton Castle was a well-deserved moment. And even Matt Taven, I wasn't a fan of him as world, but we watched him from like the beginning.
MTV.
You know what I mean?
MTV.
Right.
Yeah, to what he stuck it out and he had his moments. Tony Khan era, not too much to say about the championship. I like the look of Ring of Honor. It has a very classic and modern feel to it. And I think that Ring of Honor Television Championship is one of the most beautiful championships. Version 1 is one of the most beautiful championships I've ever seen, and I will be getting my hands on it one of these days, sooner rather than later. But those are all my notes for this episode of Championship Culture that I can say right now because we got to move on. We got a little show. But if you want to go back and see everything that I talked about, the discussions, even the side comments and chat, head over to youtube.com/wrestling realm. Don't forget playlist Championship Culture. Watch all of season 1, watch the bonus episodes, and just catch up on everything season 2, as well as this episode. All that and more. So there's that. Here you go, Brian. Sorry, buddy. And there's that. Well, it's fitting that you play that music, Brian H. How fitting. It's because that is the theme. That is the conversation. That is the main event of tonight's show. Brothers, Roman Reigns is returning at SummerSlam, and I'm going to tell you why. But until then, we got a few other things to talk about before we get to that point. So, Brian H., go ahead and ring the bell. All right. Every week on the Wrestling Realm, to get the show started, we like to discuss the things that we watched this week. Henceforth, the name of the subject or the segment called What Did You Watch? Well, we discussed what we talked about, what we got into, and what kind of got our blood flowing for this week's episode of the Wrestling Realm. So, for those who are listening, for those who are watching, you know the sound when you hear it. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
There it is. What did you watch, brothers? What did you watch this week?
This week, man, I've been looking at a lot of Monday Night Wars. Oh, can you hear me?
Really?
Yeah. The Monday Night Wars. Started watching that. Just that series, that little series they put on the network that eventually translated to Peacock.
Okay.
And it's so interesting, especially after watching Who Killed WCW and just seeing a lot of that stuff again. What I really, the hidden gem that I really love when watching it is the ratings part. When every time they give you a date and they'll show you the ratings, like you see the 3.1s next to the 2 point something or whatever. And I know a lot of people, and it's very popular to talk about like, oh, 95, 96, WWE was in the trash, whatever. But they were still pulling out threes, as Hogan was starting to become stale in WCW.
He's always been stale.
I knew you would say that. WWE was still like pulling out. Yeah, they were still pulling out threes and 3.6s. You know what I mean? I think that's the one thing that you learn is that it's easy to go with that narrative that the business was dying or whatnot, but there was still tons of people watching. Now, was they getting the crowds that they would get? No, and it's one of those things. where I was actually shout out to Amber Rodriguez talking to her about this, about the new generation era. I said, so easily to say, oh, the new generation era was like boring and whatnot because it wasn't the attitude era. I said, but because it's like the numbers, everybody always talks about Kevin Nash, right? And his title run. But Kevin Nash was cool. I don't care what anybody say. Diesel was cool.
He was.
So yeah, that's what I watched this week.
Okay. It sounds like this is
very
one of those retro
very interesting.
What about you, brother? Here, since you find it intriguing, what did you watch?
Wow,
intriguing.
Well, actually, right now I'm I'm watching ROH right now. I have Tommaso Ciampa versus Kevin Steen right now on the screen. But I just got finished watching Jay Briscoe versus Jay Lethal, which turned into like a big family brawl where like all of the Briscoes came out and a bunch of different wrestlers came out. Yeah, it was craziness. It was like 30 minutes worth of just foolishness,
chaos.
Yeah, basically. But earlier I watched the full story of the Judgment Day. How they formed.
That is on YouTube though. It's like 2 hours long. I said, bro, I'm not going back. I gotta go.
Hey, I did it today. I did it earlier today, and I was just like, bro, dang, I forgot all of this happened for the most part, And it was just interesting to go back down memory lane and just see how everything came together and put it to where it's like what it is now. Like it's very interesting. It's very interesting, and I'm just waiting to see what's up next, because it looks like we got two baby faces in a heel faction right now, right?
Yeah, isn't it weird?
Or one in the possible. Yeah,
there you go. One in the possible. Triple H is doing that thing again.
Yeah, absolutely. But we shall see.
You know what?
By the way, that faction is just as good as the Bloodline, for sure. That storyline was just as good as the Bloodline. It's
carrying its weight because it's been almost 2 years now. They're still like, when you look at the retrospect. But I'm nervous because I'm like, it's probably coming to an end. That's why they put the whole like, if you put the compilation up there, like, this is what
absolutely
started. They about to show us where the heck it ended, just in case you forgot.
Right.
Yeah, but is that all you watch this week, Brother Hugh?
That's all I watched. Just ROH, and then I went down that rabbit hole for the Judgment Day.
The crazy part is that I usually would ask Brother Guy, but I'm like, well, it's just fitting that I go right after you, because guess what the heck I watched this week?
What was that?
Bring up all the stuff, the same thing. I literally been watching it all last week, all yesterday, and even right before we got on the show. I think the last thing I watched on the show was I watched AJ Styles and Bobby Fish. This one, he was the IWGP World Champion. I watched AJ Styles versus Adam Cole when Adam Cole first came back from his injury. I watched the Briscoes versus War Machine. Insane time. And I'm gonna let Brother Brandon go, because that's gonna bring me to my little pseudo announcement that I had before we get into the meat potatoes of the show. But until we get to that point, Brother Brandon, what did you watch this week, sir?
Oh wow, what is a surprise? I watched ROH this week. And I'm gonna say it was crazy because I went back to, like, usually as a wrestling fan, whenever you feel like somebody's character is bad or somebody's not doing what you think they should do, you usually go back and watch the stuff to make you remember why they were so good or why they became, you became a fan of them. And I had to go back, and one rivalry that I always go back to in ROH has always been El Generico and Kevin Steen, because I remember being there when they were making that announcement that, he was the one to come back to beat Kevin Steen because he had that strong hold on the title. He was like the dastardly heel, and it was like, oh, El Generico's back. And that ladder match at Final Battle, first off, it was crazy with the spots that they did, and I thought they were going to kill each other. But
that's one of the greatest ladder matches that's ever been done.
Absolutely.
For the title. And it was like the fact that they remember the last spot, they had the two ladders, and then he set up the two this way, and he went through. I was like,
last time we saw Generico too. He was gone after that.
But it was like a combination of, I remember watching that Generico's going to win. He's got to win this title. Lo and behold, he didn't. So just reliving that rivalry and knowing that we were there for, 90% of it was always a good thing to go back to. And it's like, it still holds up. Like, even though that's Kevin Steen and El Generico, we know that, their trials and tribulations, things they've been through, it's still just as good to this day. So I would challenge everybody, go down the ROH rabbit hole, because there's so many hidden gems there that you'll be like, whoa, this is the wrestlers that we enjoy today, they made it because of the matches that they did, made them so we still enjoy them today.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, that's what I did. I'm still down my ROH forever.
We can do a whole segment just on ROH or a whole show on ROH and our experiences of going to those shows, man. I have plenty of memories, bro. Plenty of memories.
I'm glad you brought up such a thing because you know what, good brothers, I got a survey I need you guys to help me put together. There's some questions I got to ask you, and I need your opinion on it. And what better show to do that on than this one, the Wrestling Realm Now podcast? Because usually we do this through text message, but we're here on the show, so let's have this conversation now. So guess what? Brother, you're right. I don't know what you ate earlier, but we might have ate the same thing because we've been in the same wavelength for like the last 20 minutes. Because I was thinking the same thing. I said to myself, there's probably going to be some changes happening in the next maybe month or two. And I'm saying to myself, we've got to grow this. We've got to expand. And there's roots of the wrestling realm that we got to get back to. Now, for those that don't know, we did the wrestling realm before, and a lot of times the conversations were very timeless, right? We spoke on content that was necessarily that you can have that conversation at any point in time, no matter the subject. And we didn't do a lot of current stuff, so we started a podcast, and this is where we explore the current stuff. But there's a lot of things that I feel like the realness still has to say, and maybe you brothers feel the same way. So, in the next month or two, I need you guys to help me figure some things out because I've been thinking, I don't know, maybe some bonus material, some bonus shows. And I've got a few ideas. I want you brothers to give me your thoughts on these ideas. Let me get the list. I've got 2 sets of notes today. You see that? Look at that. So I'm not saying this is necessarily content for Realness Reacts.
But
and
before
I'm not
you
saying,
start, not really.
Okay.
As long as it involves a championship and everybody has a story, I'm in.
Oh, come on now. You think half these stories don't involve championship belts? But let me continue.
Here we go.
I'm not saying which shows are Realness Reacts. I'm not saying which shows are maybe some exclusive bonus episodes. I don't know. But I'm saying I want you guys to give me your 2 cents on some of the ideas that I just came up with. You got the Brian H. He's looking at the audio dying right now. Like, come on, you're killing me, Realness. Sorry, buddy. Story time with the Realness.
Okay.
Wrestling themes. Ring of Honor, the Sinclair Broadcasting Years retrospective. Mercedes Moné versus Sasha Banks. WWF Big Eagle, a love story. The WCW World Heavyweight Championship, the Big Gold, aka a love story. Who called it? Question mark. NXT Black and Gold years, a retrospective. A trip around the world, a global wrestling preview and retrospective. My favorite tag team wrestling highlights. So on and so forth. Now, I don't know what you guys are doing in the next month or two, but I got a good feeling about what I might be doing in the next month or two. And I just wanted to run that past you, brother. What you guys think about some of this bonus content and material that I've put in front of you? Does this stuff seem wrestling realm worthy to you guys? What do you guys think of the things that I said?
Man, they all suck.
Really? That's like that episode of Martin. He's like, Martin, I think your radio show sucks.
No, I like them. I like them all. They sound good so far. You know, I just had to be the one. I just had to be the one to be the asshole. Excuse me.
I feel like
right now we got to mark the show explicit.
Oh yeah, you're right. You good?
And these might be the topics that get people going.
The Apple Podcast thing.
This definitely will get people going because it doesn't have to be an expert on what's happening now. It's what do I need to go back and watch?
Absolutely.
Or this is why they say it. Because the passion will come through. And that's something that me and Hugh said about Silver and Gold last night. It was like, why did it seem like it was just so much fun? Because we were recalling those moments of being a fan. And I know people have heard
CC Uncut.
and like, for instance, like, we can all talk about how we stood up for 6 hours, but it was worth it. And will we do it again now? Probably not, because we're a little older.
I would.
But
I would.
back then, it was, let's do this. So, Realness, my vote is yes.
All right.
Hold on. Let me let y'all know something real quick.
Go ahead.
He's
What you
touching
got?
the mic. He's touching the mic.
Negroes sleep on Kimberly Page, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Who slept on Kimberly Page?
WWE.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Yeah, he's about to go in real quick.
They should have brought her over. I'm watching Bash
She
at
didn't
the
want to
Beach
come over. You think about that?
97. No, that's not acceptable. I don't want to think about that. I'm thinking that they should have brought her over when they brought Tori and what's her name?
But she wasn't really doing much during that era.
Yeah,
of
she wasn't doing
They
anything
could
at
have
all.
had room for her.
I mean, look, the argument with Kimberly Page. No disrespect.
No, but no, because I told you I've been watching the Monday Night Wars and the previous episode, they talk about the Nitro Girl,
Mm-hmm.
and it was no comparison. I mean, you got funny on one screen, but to your point, not bad. Sounds good. I will say this as a tendency to look at programming schedule. There are 3 weekly days of content that's free.
Oh,
And
really?
people content. So there's a Monday slot open, a Thursday slot open, and a Friday slot open. And if you feel weekend, who works on the weekend? I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I have to keep that in
Fans.
mind.
Yeah, I think fans will be looking for, they know where to come on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Might as well keep them here throughout the week, brother.
Well,
I mean, because I mean, personally, I'm gonna tell you straight up. Shannon Sharp does a show every week, and I tend to, as your brother, but as also somebody who was in the grind with you, and as somebody who was in the classroom reading the books and opening the pages and the pages. I mean, I know now. I think
pages. Yeah,
I know you're better than him. So I just got one question.
Me? Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Well, if you can't,
no. Maybe I need to dig into my WrestleMania, my WrestleMania 20, because they don't show this promo no more for obvious reason. Realness. I don't know if a lot of people, somebody saying maybe they don't believe in you.
Oh, wait a minute. Those are fighting words.
Yeah, maybe they don't.
Of course, they don't believe in you. They believe in Joe. What you talking about?
They don't believe the show. I remember my guy Eddie Guerrero had to have this motivational speech behind the scenes before the main event that night.
Mm-hmm.
So you take what you want to do with that information. you take what you want to do, SA.
Well, all I can say is everybody stay tuned because things are about to get very real. And we'll just leave it at that. So there it is. Moving on. I just want to put that out there, and I want to get everybody's opinion on it. But I'm glad we had this conversation. But we got to get to tonight's show. But before we talk about Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam, because I'm going to tell you all the reasons why. Money in the Bank just passed, brothers. We have a new Miss Money in the Bank now. It's no point to talk about Mr. Money in the Bank because I think the world recognized that went kind of left field. But yeah, well. Before we get into this week's Good for Business, Bad for Business, which is clearly about Miss Tiffany Stratton winning Ms. Money in the Bank this year, let's talk about the overall show. Gentlemen, did you guys enjoy Money in the Bank this year? Did you guys enjoy was the Canadian audience live enough for you? Did the matches tickle your fancy? Did you get what you were looking for coming out of the show overall?
I mean, they hit the 100s in the decibel meters. So I thought that was pretty good. It was a solid crowd. Overall, great show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Money in the Bank. I liked the pacing. Give me 5 matches every time. I like that.
Agreeing to that.
And all stories move forward. I'm not here to harp on Damian Priest and his, botch count.
I am.
Yeah. Well, so you know how I feel about eyes wide open doing pinfalls. I hate it. And again, me and Amber was talking about this, and she brought up a good point, and that I didn't understand from a wrestler standpoint, understanding, keep your eyes open because timing and cues and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but okay. But the referee, now, just perspective, y'all know, I've ref one match, so I'm gonna take my one match time.
He's gonna take your one match experience and speak on it.
I got scolded before that match by Amber. She gave me we had a phone call before the match. She said, "Make sure you got gloves." I said, "Oh shoot!" And brother, Hugh remember me running around and shout out to the homie PJ Savage. I was like, "Yo, you got any gloves?" He's like, "Nah, you'll be all right. This jersey." I said, "No, I need gloves in case somebody get busted open." Right. So I had I had workout gloves in my pocket, so I put those on.
Like he was just wear like the unarmed.
Yeah, the black.
He was just wear those.
So then she said, "I don't care what comes or goes. You have the most shoot job. You count to 3. It's not your job to make them kick out." Now, luckily, I had 2 false finishes. One because Bougie hit me, so I owed him a fast count, and we didn't even plan that. He kicked out though. And the second one, my hand almost hit the mat, and I curbed it to the point I had to make sure I yelled at the timekeeper. No, but the point was that referee was supposed to count to 3, and deal with the consequences. And I know it's a lot of stuff, but he should. I for the sake of the chaos, I wish he would have counted to 3. But overall, it was a great show. I enjoyed it. It moved all the stories forward, in my opinion.
They would have to restart the match.
They would have, for sure.
Beautiful.
Okay, good. What about you, brother Brandon? Did you enjoy Money in the Bank?
I enjoyed Heatwave more than I did Money in the Bank, which is crazy because I think Triple H has hit his.
Okay, that's why.
I want to say, remember how we were so used to pay-per-views, and now premium live events have been home runs, and we always talk about this doesn't have to be a great PLE. It was an okay one. This was one of those ones oh, all right. And I'm gonna be the person that harp on the fact that they wasted a men's Money in the Bank because that storyline still could have moved forward without him winning Money in the Bank and cash in the same night. I feel like you want to add some more realness to it. You want to add more grit to it. Okay, fine. But I guess in my mind, you got to put all that drama into it because Raw doesn't have Cody Raheem anymore. So you got to make sure you put as much drama into Raw to get people going with it, so that way they're more vested in the story. But everything further the story in the match, and I love the 5-match formula. I think it gives you time for everything to breathe. It gives you time for the storylines. It gives you time for everything. But it's just I feel like it left me with that was okay. The crowd, I want to say the foreign crowds have been so hot. I was expecting Canada to take it to the 100th. I expected them to be crazier than anybody else. But I was they're kind of spoiled like we are. They get wrestling all the time. It's not like a thing where they have every once in a while wrestling's been there. No, they get wrestling all the time. But I'll say this about it. I enjoyed all the outcomes except for I don't even care about Damian Priest's botch. I'm past that because stuff happens.
But that was terrible. He's not getting past that.
No, I can't get past the fact that now the fact of how else are you going to push other people's stories forward without their briefcase? Because we've seen the highs and lows of the briefcase. And me personally, I was waiting for a Triple H men's Money in the Bank because I think he'll do the right thing with Tiffany. But I was looking forward to something being done with the men that you were all right, so good point because we have all these contenders around this world title. Not too many people vying for Cody Raheem's title right now, except for Solo. So I thought that would have been a way to further something else. But we got what we got. Decent. Okay. I'm okay with it. Not great.
Okay.
But not I'm going to go back and watch Money in the Bank. I'll go back and watch Heatwave before I watch Money in the Bank.
I watched the women's match. That's about it.
That women's ladder match.
That women's ladder match was everything. Yes.
It stole the show.
Well, what did you think, brother? Because I think I have a rebuttal to not necessarily a rebuttal to what you said, Brandon, but I think I have a response to it because this is me overthinking in the Triple H era, and maybe you too, brother. But go ahead and tell us what you thought about Money in the Bank this year.
I thought it was a solid PLE. It served its purpose. There was a couple of, I would say, I hate to say weak points, but weaker matches for me, like the Sami Zayn match. I mean,
you wouldn't feel it.
I'm not.
Y'all hate no Sami.
No,
I'm
just not feeling. I'm not feeling the title run right now, man. And I don't know. Maybe it's the belt
It's
too,
not his
because
fault,
I'm not feeling the design either of the belt,
It's
the
not
IC
memorable.
title.
You're
Yeah,
not gonna go back and remember
You just
this
can't get
match.
past it, can you?
yeah, I can't get past it. But that, and then like I said, the main event was kind of like, it was chaos. It was just chaotic, and I just didn't understand it at first. It got better over time, but I honestly didn't think that should have been the main event. And what Brandon alluded to with the Money in the Bank cash in.
Mhm.
At first, I thought it was kind of messed up, but if you think about it, it adds purpose for like Seth Rollins. Now you know what's next for him. I mean, I know he's already a big established superstar. Yes, you could have used that briefcase to enhance another superstar like a Chad Gable or a Jey Uso. Take them to another level. But at least you got that out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, we don't have the briefcase, we don't have that suspense. We don't have all of that and whatnot. But we do have Seth Rollins in the mix now with CM Punk, and we're telling that story again, along with the CM Punk Drew McIntyre story. So I was okay with it. I was okay. Overall, I do agree with Brandon again. Heatwave through and through was it. It was amazing. My only beef is, why does Wesley cry so much?
Whoa.
Listen,
That's my man. Look, but I don't get it. Like, literally, after it's like the last couple matches that he lost or whatever, he
he's
comes
emotional.
back out the next night. Yeah, he comes back out and he just hits this emotional promo or whatever. I'm not including the last one with the injury or whatnot, because that was some real stuff. But I'm like, bro, you always ready to quit after, like, come on. But now I get it. It
That's
tied
why,
all in together with the Rascals and whatnot. But come on, bro.
That's why,
But
though. I think because of the fact, like getting so close, and he think back to it's a trigger point to
okay.
almost losing everything. Like almost essentially the injury was so bad that he almost lost his career. So that's why I think he takes all of that and intertwines it into the whole character. And he's so easy to root for. Not just because he's a great person, but he's that character is so easy to root for.
I get it, but we've seen it about 2 or 3 times already.
It's
Yeah,
getting
but you saw what
stale.
you got this week.
Yeah,
That's
but it's getting. I feel like, because
you see what I'm saying?
Is arguably the greatest North American champion NXT has produced. Right? Wesley is the greatest North American champion they have produced. They keep pumping him up, letting it be known that he's the it when it came to that title. So this time when he lost, it was like, oh, you gonna complain about it? No, pick yourself up and push forward. Put him in that title picture. Put him in something else. Put him in a main event level program, because look at the main event of NXT. It's like Shawn Spears is probably the most breakout return. So I was like, he impressed me so much. I'm like, I want to see him and Wesley go at it. I want to see Shawn Spears or anybody this time. And then Wesley, like, that's his gimmick. So what happens now after Rascal lose? He's gonna come out. Oh, I gotta address the audience again, like, because now that's his stick.
Well,
and it doesn't have to be.
You know what HB Kizzle does, right? He's been giving us a lot of his career, and that was one of the things he used to do, is cry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, there you go. See, that's that next level thinking. Just the click. DX running the show.
Then he gets the click. Literally, Wesley gets his click.
He gets his running mates back.
I understand it, and that emotion of him getting somebody who was wrongfully kicked out of the WWE, for let's call it for what it is, wrongfully accused. Yeah, and then Trey Miguel, top 10 BRP 50, to see them come over, and then with the TNA logo, and then it's like that feeling. It's like when you go to a different college, and then you see your boys from high school come to your school for homecoming. So it was so many dynamics, but the seed I see was planted Sunday night. That's why I was okay with it. Like, I understand what you're saying, brother, but I'm just looking at it like, okay, the seed was planted. I don't think we're gonna get a crybaby.
I get that. I'm just telling you my initial reaction, because I'm like, all right, look, like especially after yesterday, I'm just like, all right, cool, it makes sense. Everything came together well. I get it. But my initial reaction when it first happened, and I saw him backstage, he cut the little promo, he was whining that again. I'm like, bro, all right, we're gonna do this again. That was the initial reaction. It makes sense now once it played through. But that was my initial reaction with it. But I'm just like, I hope they don't keep doing this over and over and over, because this is like the third time he's done it. And I'm like, bro, like, is this like you want, like you said, you're one of the best North American champions ever.
And we saw your rise. We saw
keep it pushing
your
partner
gone. You became a bottom 5 single star, but you became a single star in a division. And if he took that mid card title and did what it was supposed to do, it elevated him to the point it's like, oh man, when he lost, you're like, oh, Wesley lost. Like nobody could believe it, especially because he lost it to Dominic Mysterio. And it was like, oh no. Like, I remember that gut punch that we had because we were behind him. Everybody was with him because boom, as soon as his partner left, we're like, all right, well, what do you do with a tag team person? And I was like, oh, he actually is a really great singles competitor. You know, and then when he came back, it was like, wait a minute, he wasn't supposed to be back for another 6-7 months. You know, it was like, okay, great, he's back. But then it was like, all right, you just wrestled Oba Femi in a great match that did everything you were supposed to do. And it was like, oh, and to see, okay, the Rascals are back. But how? So let me ask you this, Brian H. How long does this go on then? Is it just a one match and then he's back to being Wesley?
No, I don't know. I'm sitting
Does
here.
He go over
I'm
to
enjoying
TNA?
the ride.
Does he go over to TNA?
I think we're gonna see this crossover thing happen for a while. I don't think it's just a one and done. So I think it's gonna be a mix of both. Like I think it's gonna be
as a needed basis.
Yeah, because
TNA.
I don't want to see. I think the world title picture is a little too crowded right now, which I love. Like these four, because the title needs this to be the way it is with all these four guys, because on Raw, usually it's the same thing, same cookie cutter. One guy, this guy, one-on-one, whatever. Now you got four people all going for that. So I wouldn't want to see Wes Lee kind of in that mix. Eventually his time will come, but right now, go play there. You got a lot of factions down there. You got some tag teams. So I think that's what's good for him.
And then I guess my thing is because the stipulation, if he doesn't win, he doesn't get. I was like, okay, this will be the way to push him into that main event scene, because of the stipulation. And when he lost, I said, all right, so whoever wins this, Wesley's going to be that challenger, to add him in that mix. But I was like, okay, they threw it this way. Not yet. Let him simmer over here for a little bit till we're ready.
Well, like I said, with that being said, we'll get into more of NXT Heatwave, but we got to jump right into this week's Good for Business, Bad for Business. Money in the Bank. Everyone has had it's kind of a mixed feel. When I watched Money in the Bank, and I think everybody walked away with the women kind of being the highlight of the show. Now, the way we've been programmed because of the Vince McMahon era, I'm almost convinced that like Triple H is going out of his way to reprogram how we watch these things, right? It almost seemed intentional, right? So think about it. Anything the men would have done, whoever would have won, it would have automatically been about them, because that's just the way that it is, right? And it seemed like they purposely chose this particular Money in the Bank to say, let's put some of that energy towards the women. So sometimes they downplay cards, because we watch Vince McMahon do it. We watch him say, okay, we're not putting this match on with this or this. We want it to be, we want everybody to focus on this one thing. This pay-per-view is PLE or whatever, it's meant to push this, right? So, but we're so conditioned to, hey, this is supposed to happen because it's this. And I feel like that Triple H might, and Shawn Michaels might be trying to deprogram us from that thinking. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, well, it makes sense to put the belt on him because he needs a push. It's like, that's the old way of thinking about it. And that's what we're used to. But I have learned in this era to be open to the DX way of doing things. And it's kind of this wait and see approach where you kind of have to almost let go of what you think is going to happen, because they've shown us in many occasions that just because we think it and it makes sense that that's how it used to be, they've purposely gone away just to say, I don't want you to be so stuck in this way of thinking. Okay, cool. Money in the Bank's here. That means one of these guys is supposed to win it, so they can get a push, and they're gonna be the next. It's like, no, it doesn't have to be. They're reconditioning us with these PLEs, but Mixed reviews, but I tell you what's not mixed review. Tiffany Stratton. It's Tiffy time. She is officially Ms. Money in the Bank, and she is the subject of our good for business, bad for business this week. Now there were many competitors in this match, but she has seemed to come out on top. Who called Tiffany Stratton? Was that you, Brian H?
You sure was. Since
Brian H, you called Tiffy time. What was it about?
Did.
Yeah, I thought we all did too.
Yeah,
I did originally, but then we switched to Chelsea.
No, I said my heart wants Chelsea, but my mind knows it's going to be Tiffany. Because my heart, I wanted Chelsea, but I knew it was going to be Tiffany.
So we're all on the same page pretty much about Tiffany Stratton. So, Brian, what was it about Tiffany Stratton that you felt like she's up next? She was the right winner. See, I'm breaking out of this stigma of she needed it to win. She needs it. Like that's how we're being deprogrammed. We're being freed from the matrix, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to step out of myself for years and years and years of watching this and assuming that, you know what I mean? She's supposed to have like that. That's why we were like, well, you can go in multiple directions as to we don't know why they won. We don't know what they're trying to push. We don't know. Sometimes the Money Bank, it's coming, but it might get in the way. What if they were locked in and say, okay, well, we got to push them out this year because we got Money in the Bank coming up. You know what I mean? That was the kind of the Vince McMahon way. But it's different now, but we were all kind of like, we wouldn't be surprised if Tiffany Stratton won. But what is it about Tiffany Stratton that makes her the right Ms. Money in the Bank? And is this good for business that she's Money in the Bank and not somebody else? Or is it bad for business? Maybe somebody else should have won, even though you thought she was going to win. Do you feel somebody else should have won?
Let me take you back to a time, 2012. There was a guy who made a call after watching a certain 6-man tag match at TLC, and said that Seth Rollins was going to be the guy.
Who called it? Remember the list? Remember the list I just said earlier? Who called it?
Yeah,
that's right.
That was the real Dwayne Allen.
Yeah, thank you.
The best part about doing this show and doing this for so long, you learn how to look at things differently, right?
Sure. Yeah.
When she was in the match with Becky Lynch, I said, okay, I want to see how this goes. When it was for the NXT Women's Championship.
Yes,
right?
That feud, yep. Excellent feud.
And that feud right there showed me, okay, she's ready. It was easy because remember, 6 months prior to that, everybody was like, they got their replacement for Mandy Rose. And I said then, after that match, I said, nobody's going to be saying Mandy Rose or Trish Stratus no more. And Tiffany Stratton went out there and did that. It's hard to make that transition sometimes. She did it when she had the Elimination Chamber. And it was during that match, she went out there and she had the crowd of Australia. They was behind her, right?
Right.
It wasn't time to pivot whatever plans you had. You saw her rivalry, starting something with Bianca, even to the point people was like, maybe this is a WrestleMania match. And just the patience, right? So I watched that just to go behind the curtain, watching how she handles media, right? Understanding that she's trained by Gagne. So with all of that, I was like, okay, after WrestleMania, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, post-WrestleMania projects. And I said, after WrestleMania, she's up. And I've been feeling like there's been a desire to get that briefcase on a woman longer than just cashing in. When you go back and look at the history, the only person to hold it long was Carmella, and then Io Sky held it 1 month. Everybody else cashed in the same night, with the exception of Asuka, who could have just cashed in it, but she was given the title the next night. So to me, it was she already showed, okay, she's got world champion written all over her, but now we're gonna see the development, and because she's already got the character down pat. Now she wants to be a babyface. This may lure her to that eventually, depending on who she cashes on. Well, I was gonna say, I know it. Of course, my memory's failing me right now. When you cash in on a certain person, it can instantly flip you because it's an ultimate opportunity.
Gotcha. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, it flips CM Punk to a heel because he cashed in on Jeff Hardy. And then he was like, well, y'all mad at me. I did the same thing last year when I cashed in on Edge, but because y'all love him, now y'all hate
y'all
me.
mad. Y'all mad at me.
So now I think you could do that in reverse if she was to say, let's just say Nia Jax, right? She cashes in on Nia Jax. That's somebody who she's been like buddy with, but now it's easier to boo. It's gonna be you. Everybody's gonna pop for a cash in because you want to be there. You know what I mean? So now, if she cashes in on Nia, you know, hopefully not at SummerSlam, but let's say Bad Blood or something. Now she's an instant baby face
because they're bringing that back.
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia. What's up? Sounds like a trip.
Does to me. What about you, brother Hugh? Good for business, bad for business. Tiffany Stratton. I'm sorry, Brandon. Will you finish? I didn't know if that was okay. I didn't want to cut you off. Good for business, bad for business. Brian, they said a lot. He got very in depth about a lot of aspects that we tend to neglect, you know, when we watching wrestling. But they're nonetheless the truth. How do you feel in regard to them saying, okay, Tiffany Stratton, you're up next? Good for business, bad for business. Was this the right move for them to put to give Tiffany Stratton this opportunity to kind of run with it and build who she is and get into this main event conversation? Or was it bad for business? Should it have been somebody else?
I think it's good for business because, like Brian said, she proved that way back in NXT when she was going up against Becky Lynch.
That's when I found out about her.
We called
her attention, actually.
Absolutely. We called it. We called it then, and we was just like, look, I kind of see her as like a Charlotte Flair type of person.
She's very athletic.
Type of character. She's very athletic, charisma. In the ring, she's great in the ring. She's very in tune with her character.
Big
over
time.
like crazy. And of course, from the business side of things, of course, I said she was going to win the Money in the Bank because now she's going to get a nice little pink briefcase with the sparkles and maybe a handbag, a strap or something on it, and they're going to sell that bad boy and make a lot of money off of it. But overall, like I said, she was the best pick. Like just out of the lineup that was in the Money in the Bank match, she was overall. If you think about it, pound for pound, she's a 5-tool player. She has it all.
Yeah,
and that was your best pick. Naomi was in it, but like you just said, I don't like to say she didn't need it, but let's be real. She's a big enough star to where she doesn't really need it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Chelsea was the only other person I could really see winning it. And that's just because Chelsea.
Yeah. And they teased it. They teased it quite often, if you notice it. Yeah.
Right. But how believable would that have been if she actually would have won it, though?
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? She's more of a comedic type of character.
She's a weasel. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, that kind of makes sense. She did have a great showing, though. So overall, Tiffany Stratton was the best pick for it. So it's definitely good for business for her.
All right. Fair enough. Brother Brandon, good for business, bad for business. Tiffany Stratton, the new Ms. Money in the Bank. Did they get it right? Is she the right one to carry the beef craze? Is she up next? Good for business, bad for business.
Very good for business because the SmackDown division of the women's division on SmackDown kind of is missing stuff for Bayley to do, really. Like we're holding on for the Nia Jax, right? We're waiting for Nia Jax, but we're waiting. But if she's been very buddy with Nia, he's been slowly teasing something. I don't know if she really cashes it at SummerSlam. Who's to say Nia is not in another title match or gets the title and just Bayley escapes through and Tiffany comes and like, sorry. But to your point, switching her over to a babyface or a heel, I don't know if we could do that with her because her character comes off as a natural, organic, I'm better, I'm the best, arrogant, confidence, teeter in line of things. And I kept saying my heart went in Chelsea because we like Chelsea. And on Melvin Alpha Mike on Saturday when I jumped on, one of the guys said it. Chelsea makes the most of every moment she has on TV.
Absolutely.
So she's doing this without the briefcase. Let her keep doing it. And Chelsea knows what her position is. You know what I mean? So granted, my heart wanted her, but I'm like, come on now. We're going to have a pink briefcase. I'm still waiting for this watch because it's still silly that she does this Give her a watch. Just give her a watch that you can sell. All the little girls will have a watch on talking about it's Tiffy time or whatever their name is. They'll be saying it. It'll be a good gimmick for her to have. It's so many things that you can do with her. And yet we can call back to matches that she had, because I'm telling you, that Great American Bash match with her and Thea Hale, it opened my eyes that, yep, this woman belongs in this division for a long time. And this could be the spark of, what if we don't see our cash in until next year, Money in the Bank? Who knows? I mean, she's going to be on TV for a while, and she's going to keep doing things that's going to make us have conversations like this. She's good for business all the way around. I'm going to just throw one tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
She can cash on either champion. Who's on Raw? Who is on Raw that she got an interest in? I mean, I know he's out hurt right now. Traditionally, they kept couples together. We saw Andrade get moved to SmackDown. How we know she won't get moved to Raw to be with her boo? She could cash in on that on other champion too.
Yeah, that's always a thing. You know, WWE has become much more of a family-oriented business.
Absolutely.
As far as their programming and their employees / superstars are concerned. But I'm in agreement with you brothers as well. I think this is good for business for a number of different reasons. You all pretty much said all the points, all the major factors as to why. But the thing I like the most about the Money in the Bank, to me, kind of replaced, at the time, I know they're changing it now, but it was like it replaced the King of the Ring, even though they're getting King of the Ring back on schedule, like back on its level of importance, where it's not just the name of a PLE, but it has weight to it, right? It's because what you do is you give yourself as a program opportunities to help usher in new superstars into the main event scene without having to use the title, right? Because you only have a certain amount. Like, it's bad enough you got to have 2 world titles, because it's like, if you have Stone Cold Steve Austin a long time, he said we'll never go back to the day it was one guy. He said, and we looked at it and we were like, Austin was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Then The Rock came into the mix, and it was always one guy at the top. And in retrospect, as much as we love the Attitude Era, it kind of almost killed itself, because Austin was like it. By the time it got to a point where you're trying to raise up the next guy, they had nobody for me. It's because they went all in on one character for so long.
Makes sense.
Nobody else was being built as a legit contender. So once The Rock left, or there was nobody else that, like, even he had an attitude about Brock Lesnar is the next big thing. Where's the build? But the way the programming was developing, the way we were watching TV, the way with more wrestling on throughout the week, is like having just one person is no longer the thing. And one thing I've noticed with Shawn Michaels and Triple H both, they are a talent factory. It doesn't matter who's at the top. They're always bringing in new talent. At one point you say, well, don't you think you have enough talent? They're like, nope, we're always looking for the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. It's because they're like, we got to get him, and we got to get him early. And the Money in the Bank allows you to do that. It's because having that briefcase, that contract, adds a prestige, because now you're automatically a contender without any questions asked. Queen of the Ring, guaranteed accolade, guaranteed title shot at a major PLE. And in this situation, having to be SummerSlam. So those are the major reasons why I think it's good for business. That Tiffany Stratton as well. She's clearly up next. She's someone that they like Brother Hugh said, she's a 5'2" player. So I'm looking forward to see what she does.
Got a question for you, Realness. Now, yes, you talk about Money in the Bank replace the King of the Ring, but remember, it was a WrestleMania match. Do you think it's better now that it's its own pay-per-view, or does it need to go back as being a match on something?
Well, no, it was. Mm-hmm.
Does it need to be separate? Should we have had a Raw or SmackDown one? Because remember, for a while we had Raw and SmackDown, a red case and a blue case.
Yeah.
Which way you think is better?
No, I have no problem with it being its own separate entity. Is because it's a big attraction, right? When you lose, like you had your big 4 back in the 90s and back in the day, you had SummerSlam, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, right? And we kind of lost some of that pizzazz. And Money in the Bank has turned into its own big deal. The night has allowed it to, and it's not boxed into just one thing, right? So you have most likely 2 Money in the Bank matches, men and women, and you have another set of matches on the card itself. So I'm not. I think things evolve, and I don't believe in things necessarily going backwards. So it's like it's done well, even in the Vince McMahon area. the era of Vince McMahon where Money Bank standing on its own has been a good thing. It's not like this is overkill. Having too many briefcases out there, it kind of diminishes the importance of it. You know what I mean? That's like saying, okay, let's have a King of the Ring for Raw, King of the Ring for SmackDown, Queen of the Ring for Raw, Queen of the Ring for SmackDown. You know what I mean? Then you throw maybe somebody NXT involved. It's like, you know what I mean? I get it. It's almost like a balance. They're trying to find the middle line. Like how far do we get that balance where we say, okay, cool, it's expanded, but yet it's still coveted. And too much of anything, you diminish its value. That's like sometimes it's better to have exclusivity to what you're trying to sell rather than have it available for the masses because it diminishes the value of it sometimes. So I don't mind it being its own thing. I don't need it to go back to being a single match because it's a special time of year in the wrestling calendar now. It's kind of grown into that. So, but yeah, that's just how I feel about it. I don't think Raw and SmackDown need to separate. I think because they're still doing pay-per-views, they're not doing separate pay-per-views. You know what I mean? They're not doing separate PLEs. It's not like they're doing like Raw only travels and does Raw PLEs and SmackDown has their set of PLEs. No, they're still joint pay-per-views. It's just like I said, and there's only 5 matches. So once again, you still got to prove yourself. It's not like they're not just trying to like Tony Khan has 30 matches, but I respect Tony Khan's approach because he's like, I have all these people working for me. I want to give them time. I want to give them an opportunity. I respect that. You need places like that versus WWE. Like, no, we have all this talent, but we slow walk things like WrestleMania. We're not going to put 20 matches on the card so everyone can get a WrestleMania check. No, you got to earn your way. Mm-hmm. And if you don't earn your way in the ring, you got to take care of things outside the ring, right? You got to go to the autograph signings. You got to go to meet and greets. You got to earn your paycheck. You know what I mean? And once again, that it keeps that healthy competition in the locker room for stars to go out there and really put their best foot forward as far as, hey, show them why you belong in this space. Show them why we're choosing you over the next person. Let the fans decide who they want versus who they don't want. And to say, hey, this person's the next superstar. And they might be, but not just throwing it at us and forcing us like Roman was up next. It was never a situation like Vince was wrong. It's just that once he realized, okay, he's the guy, he always tried to fast track things after a while. There's no natural build, and he was always trying to force feed his vision for that character. It's like, no, let that person themselves, and they'll naturally get us there. Not okay, cool. He's clearly the guy, so I'm gonna draw this up, have him do this, have him do this, have him do that. Same thing with these ladies. Like I can only imagine what he would have done with a character like Tiffany Stratton if he was in charge. You know what I mean? Or like we saw what he was doing with Austin Theory. Yes, Austin Theory may be up next. He may be the one to lead the company in the future, but it doesn't mean you got to give him to us all right now. You know what I mean? That was his way. But like I said, in the Triple H era, to me, like I've had to learn to be more patient and have a wait and see approach. Like, let me see where this goes first before I pass judgment. So that's kind of why I think the way I think when it comes to, not necessarily thinking like, should it go back to just being an attraction or just allowing it to kind of breathe on its own. So there's that.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, with that being said, we had another pay-per-view. We were kind of getting into it early on, but we're just going to jump right into it now. NXT Heatwave, gentlemen. Oh man, I'm more than happy to talk about NXT Heatwave.
Of course you are. I wonder why.
We have a new NXT World Champion. I don't like the Crayola Box Championship. That is killing me.
Yes.
I saw a young lady in the crowd, and she had the original championship, the original NXT, and I was like, "That's how it's supposed to be all gold. That's a championship. This right here is killing me."
That X was shining, wasn't it? That X was so good in the background. I was like, "Oh, it was quite bright."
And I was like, "Now, for real, this might have said something a few weeks ago." I was excited when Ethan Page showed up in NXT. That's one. Mm-hmm. And then some time before that, Brian H. Remember this because Brian H.'s black Twitter friends. They wanted to tar and feather me when I sat there and said a long time ago. I said Ethan Page has a bigger upside. And I'm gonna tell you when I made that announcement, it was watching after the Matt Hardy special, the Matt Hardy compound with Ethan Page and freaking Stokely Hathaway. They all showed up and on the Hardy comp for the Ultimate Deletion. And I was like, I've always liked Ethan Page. I've always liked how carries himself, and I'm like, he's up next. He has it. He has it. So if he gets his frame together, work on his body, like $1 million bucks. Looked a little bit doughy at the time, but I was like, if he gets himself together, I said, yo, he's up. I said, he's got a bigger upside than Ricky Starks, and everybody lost their minds. Black Twitter. I said, bro, there y'all go, defending your blackness. I respect it, but come on now. Talent is talent. I call it like I said. And here we go now. Where's Ricky Starks at?
Got them short boots.
Yeah, that he's
waiting to come. He waiting to get with Cody.
The misfit toys.
Now he messed with your internet.
And
yeah, sure enough did.
You have Ethan Page now getting a jump start in his career. Trust me, he knows that. Like, we saw that happen already. He's like, you guys seem like you're all in a good place. But Ethan Page, new NXT World Champion, NXT Heatwave. Did you guys enjoy this match? I'm going to ask you that first before I start gloating about Ethan Page for the rest of the time that I get. But did you guys enjoy the pay-per-view? You guys were getting into it early, which tells me that you really enjoyed it, which is great. But
yeah, we enjoyed the pay-per-view for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
My favorite match was Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan.
Now that got some controversy, Brian H. What's your 2 cents on the criticism that they received from their match? And I'm just going to give you a few tidbits of what I heard. There was criticism that I heard that the match, that style of match looked like rehearsed, or it looked like it was it looked like more like a display of gymnastics than the actual wrestling match. And I'm like, okay, so have you seen Real Ospreay versus Ricochet?
The match everybody keeps calling back.
Are we being biased because they're women, or what's the deal? What's your 2 cents on the criticism that these young ladies received for putting on that style of match, which personally I saw absolutely nothing wrong with, because we don't see that style of running gun like that with the ladies as much. You know, these not the WWE, you know.
As I get my Victor Neuron on, that jackass Dave Meltzer said that BS. And first of all, if anybody goes back and listen, like best resource, something to wrestle with, the Sable episode, you will learn that Dave Meltzer he barely likes women's wrestling. And just like Tony Khan, if he could get away with being super biased against it, he would. Like, Tony Khan wouldn't even he could call Mercedes Moné the greatest women's wrestler of all time. First of all, we all know that's a lie. So, you know, Dave Meltzer saying that,
like, Black Twitter's gonna come for you, Brian.
It's the truth. She's not the greatest women's wrestler ever, you know. But the thing is, like, the match, they went out there and they put on a showcase. And what the thing is, it's easy to get on them because of the fact, okay, they didn't grow up, they didn't go through the indies, right? But that's what NXT is for. That's what people who are NIL signees, you come in, you learn the business, you learn how to perform. They already know how to do the hard part. That's perform in front of a crowd. They just do a different sport. And I thought these ladies went out there with, they could, first of all, the people who were criticizing them never took a freaking bump in their life and can't even do it. So that's the reason why I'm like, nah, you know, I enjoyed it because I wasn't expecting as much athleticism. I know Sol Ruka can go. I know Kalani Jordan is continuing to develop. And I thought they did an excellent job out there. And that's the thing. Like the other matches, like, okay, you know, I expect good wrestling on NXT, but when you can surprise me, which they did, you know, it was like, okay, I knew they was gonna be solid. Shawn Michaels wouldn't even put him in the ring if they wasn't going to deliver for a pay-per-view, and they did. So that's what made me. But the criticism, it's unfair. You want to talk about rehearsed matches? Go back and look at the mid card, the right in the middle match at WrestleMania 34 with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon against Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle. I know for a fact it was rehearsed all the way through because Ronda Rousey said it in her book. She said that's why the match was good, because that's what you do. You rehearse this stuff. I watched Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch rehearsed their match before WrestleMania 38 because I was in the building early for reasons, and I watched Kevin Owens and Stone Cold rehearse their segment. That's what you do. I mean, criticizing, oh, it looks rehearsed. If Ricochet put it over, he gave homage to it. Case closed.
He's the king of it. What about you, brother Brandon? What you think about NXT Heatwave overall, and what was your favorite match in the midst of all of this?
Well, overall, I just felt like every match was a different style. It was a different feel. Sometimes it feels like in certain entities, I feel like it's either all spots, or it's all like wrestle. Each match felt different, and it felt like each thing had a different stake. So to see it, and it was good from start to finish because I felt I didn't want to pull away from the TV screen. I didn't want to get up because I feel like I was going to miss something. Shout out to all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans, because if you didn't catch that reference, did you see it? Did you see it real good?
Come on, now, me?
The Shredder mask. I mean, I'm saying Casey Jones mask. I was like,
Casey Jones. Yep. You kidding me?
That was cool. That was definitely cool.
I must have missed that one. Who was that?
Yeah, Sean Spears, when he was sitting in the chair, his mask was Casey Jones' mask. Yeah, that was kind of cool. And I'll say this: I'm finally glad that Trick has slowed down and has taken his time in the ring, because all his match to me felt like, I'm amped, I'm ready to go, let's go. It felt like a different Trick in this match. I don't know if the Booker T inspired.
That's what he did to do.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the Booker T inspired Trunks or anything, but if you go back and watch that, when Booker T faced at the end of the match was perfect. And what did he say? That was better than the spinner, and he was like, no. But it was just, he kept on the heel kicks. Everything about this pay-per-view set the stage for what's next for NXT. So I enjoyed it, especially everybody was like, oh, the finish. I was like, the finish was perfect. It was perfectly done. It was, to me, all around, the lowest match was the tag match because I really was invested in the tag. But every other match was great.
They should have put the Good Brothers in it and let them win.
They should
have won it back. They should have won it.
Yo, they lost on.
That's all I'm saying. But I will say the North American women's match was Sol Ruker. I was already a fan. Now I'm more of a fan. I feel like I'm invested more in her because after the ladder match for the crown of North American champion, I was like, okay, I'm starting to see a different. Not to say she was bad on regular NXT TV. It's just something that didn't click with me, but now it's clicking with me that she's there. Yep. So
all right, Brother Hugh, NXT Heatwave, good brother. Talk to your people. What do you think about
solid.
Okay.
No, good.
Solid.
Good. I was about to say solid through and through.
Okay.
All right. So as a realist, I feel like a lot of people are looking at it from a realist perspective, and I'm talking about the ending of the main event. Mm-hmm. If you look at the ending of the main event, why would Sean Spears grab Trick and pull him out the ring if it's a fatal 4-way? Wouldn't you want him to break up the count so that you can still have your chance to get the title? See, but when I was watching it, I was watching it more as a fan, and I was just like, look, my initial reaction was, look, oh, that was a great finish. I love the way that match was put together. And like you said, Trick Williams, he impressed me a lot. He slowed down completely. And just having Javon Evans and having people that he can actually that can actually take control of the match.
That's a young boy, he's 19.
Right. Like that's crazy. That's crazy that he's that good in the ring. And then you have guys like Sean Spears that's your vet. Same thing with Ethan Page, another vet that's in there. They know what they're doing. And Trick was forced to kind of like slow down and really build off of those guys. Mm-hmm. And I'm loving the new Trick, and I'm glad he lost. I hate to say it like that, but I'm glad he lost because, like I said before, his run was kind of dry to me, and he needed something else. Kevin Nash. We keep bringing it up. Kevin Nash keeps saying it. The money is being made when you're chasing the title. And Trick Williams
always in the chase, brother.
Yup. And I love the new attitude that he came out with on Tuesday. He showed a little bit more range with it. You know what I'm saying? I like it. I like it. I love it. So I'm eager to see what's next for him down the line and see where they're going to take this. But for right now, let's enjoy this good wrestling that we're getting in the ring. We get now we got Joe Hendry on our TV screens. I'm loving that, of course. I am a firm believer. I don't think Brian is a believer. Are you a believer, Brian? No, he's not a believer.
If Joe Hendry joined the Bloodline, he would be a believer.
Yeah, right.
What the Bloodline got to do with anything?
Throwing his ones
Joe
up.
Hendry's the most over person in wrestling right now.
You didn't wave your hands when he came out?
He didn't say his name.
He didn't wave his hands.
He didn't clap.
He didn't do any of it. I was in here big waving my hands. I watched I'm just chilling.
I watched the turn like 17 times. The turn. The turn. I used to be for the waves. That I'm all about the turn. Because I believe.
I looked at how Trick Williams looked at him.
No, when he at the end of the match, he was like, "What am I supposed to? What is he doing?" But I'm kidding.
I was like, "That's interesting," because it's like, okay, well, you don't come in my territory, so
yeah.
Nobody was whooping that Trick. They was all, I believe.
Yeah, so but overall, Brother Hugh, you brought something about him losing the title. I think it was also great to follow up what you said, because sometimes not only the chase, but there's no rush to the main roster. Like, you don't have to rush in there. So let him sit down there, let him learn. We got that, got that first world title run out the way. And he could be a multiple time, but he's still learning.
Yeah, also. For sure.
And it gives him time to continue to develop. But one thing, it's like, again, shout out to saw a lot of people post the video with Shawn Michaels doing his career again. The homage to No Way Out when he hit the super kick. You know what I mean? And so when I saw Shawn Spears pull, remember, like, he started pulling Trick just out of instinct. Hadn't even fell yet. So it was like
he was trying to get in to get the pin. He was like, "Oh,"
but by the time he did all that, Ethan felt, and I love the fact that just watching Ethan Page's growth, him staying laid out for a few seconds. Those few seconds make a difference.
He didn't know what happened. That's what sold it.
Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm. He sold it.
Right, the right person won for sure.
No, but that's actually a really good point, Brian H. When you talk about, like, I don't know why people are talking about, like, I agree with you and Brother Hugh. Like, of course, Shawn Spears is in the moment, right? You got to think about it. And this is wrestling psychology. I don't know why people criticize it, because the criticism doesn't make any sense. If you're in a match, you're already in the outs. They're like, well, why did he pull him out of the ring? It's because in his mind, Trick Williams was the biggest threat in the match. He was the champion. He probably wasn't thinking about the fact. He didn't realize that he had hit the trick shot on Ethan Page. For all we know, maybe he was trying to get Trick Williams out the ring so he can go for the pin, but everything had happened already. Like, and that's where the finish was like, oh, I can see why that happened. It was realistic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it didn't look. So nobody looked dominant in the match. It looked like, oh shoot. As a matter of fact, luck of the Irish draw. You know what I mean? Trick Williams did his job, but when you have all these other factors, i.e., 3 other people in the match, you can't always control those things. Absolutely. So it doesn't make you look weak when you lose. Like, you got your finisher off. That should have been the end of the match, but circumstances beyond your control. In these fatal 4 ways, whatever, wherever you find yourself, it causes you to say, oh shoot, miscalculation. Shawn Spears pulled me out of the ring. I couldn't do anything about it. Shawn Spears looked like, what just happened? And all of a sudden the match is over with. Ethan Page didn't even know what happens.
Yep.
So I think that's how you slow down. That's storytelling. Like, we're talking about the finish of the match. How many conversations do we have about finishes of matches? That's how you know. I don't know who produces all those matches down there in NXT, but they really
did a good job.
They're taking their time when it comes to storytelling, and they're catering to the live audience as well as the fans at home. Because a few years ago, when that 2.0 came out NXT, we were like, what the heck who are we going to watch? We don't know anybody down here. There's no indie superstars anymore. But look how much where they found a way to make us that much more obsessed with this version of NXT, despite of where we have come from. But I'm trying to figure out why the heck nobody's sitting there talking about how the all ego Ethan Page era has officially started in NXT. We talk about Trick Williams and the matches and the psychotic. Are you kidding me? Look at the man with this. No, it's four of us. Everybody should be celebrating Ethan Page right now. Look at that man with the strap. I said he was the guy. He's the guy. No pun, no intention to you, brother guy. But he's the man in NXT now.
We know that's your guy.
The Ethan Page era has officially begun. You kidding me? And this is exciting for me because I'm like, now we're gonna get entertaining television from start to finish. We get more range from Trick Williams. You know what I mean? It's still kind of like black guy ish. Was like, yeah, bro, nah, I ain't here to play, bro. Because like, let's we gotta get some more range out of him. But he's definitely getting there because it's the same way with Carmelo Hayes. Like I said, I found out about him. I watched him. I said, I don't know who this kid is. I know he's athletic. I know he's black, and I know he's got some serious talent. But I don't know who the heck he is. By the time he left NXT, I knew exactly who the heck it was and is. And I was like, yeah,
you invested in him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Go ahead and tell the world and Ethan Page why you're so excited. Well, I want you to have the floor. Do your monologue. A hashtag so we can clip this off of social.
So there you go. That's producer work. All ego. Ethan Page is. I think he's the most ready as far as NXT talent to kind of carry the ball, see what he can do with it. Ethan Page has been someone that I feel like has knocked on this door for a long time and is begging for this opportunity. And just the way he came in, the way he was presented, I knew like, okay, cool. Eventually they're going to hook the wagon to this guy because he can carry it. It's because in the locker room like AEW, there's so many peaks and valleys. There's so many generations of talent that's all under one roof versus NXT. These are all majority fresh faces to the industry. You know what I mean? So you have someone like that that's well-traveled, and then you bring in guys like Sean Spears and stuff like that. And, guys like that can kind of help navigate all this new talent that we're falling in love with that, like you said, a lot of them didn't come up in the indies or hitting towns. A lot of them either international superstars or they come up in the developmental system. So I'm not going to diverge too much of Ethan Page because I did it last time, but that's all you get. I mean, I just thought everybody would be just a little bit more excited because once again, I told you so. Who called it? It was me. I told everybody.
We were excited because we all was texting you. And we was like,
right.
You was quiet. I was like, was stay off social media.
I was on the road. Like I was coming back.
Just walking.
And I was like, and everybody kept saying, "Oh my gosh, wow!" Here, I was like, "Okay." I said, either somebody showed up or something happened, and I was like, "Nope, I'm just gonna leave." I said, "I can't avoid it." I just went straight to YouTube, and I was like, or Instagram, and I was like, "Okay, let me proceed." Freaking all ego, Ethan Page finally won, and I'm like, "Man, he's a day late. He's not a dollar short because guess what? He is your new NXT World Champion." I'm looking.
It was fitting for him to win it there. I just wait for a new title. We barely need.
Bro,
we're in the white and gold phase. Give us a new title.
They're killing me. The coloring book stuff is killing me, man. Like, this is come on. Like, this era is not even like wrapped up by this whole 2.0 color scheme. But I get it. But it's time to move on as we wrap up the show to the main event of the show. There's not a lot of meat to this, but there's something that we have to. Brian, play the Bloodline music. He was saying. There it is.
That's the wrong music.
Yeah, it is.
No, that's
that is not our tribal chief.
That is my tribal chief.
That is not our tribal chief music. You were at Mania. You heard the music.
That's my tribal. That's my tribal chief right there. But I'm just saying that's not the Bloodlines music right now.
We need the WrestleMania music.
No, we lost.
Roman Reigns.
We don't play that one.
That music is that.
You don't acknowledge that one, do you?
No.
I'm going to tell you this right now, and you guys can jump in as need be. I was not expecting this Bloodline storyline to go in this direction.
Nope.
Now, you can call me foolish. You can call me a mark. You can call me whatever you want. I only suggest that you say it to my face because I promise you won't say it again.
Damn.
That okay. Nah, you got to let people know. So it's like, but
why won't they say it again?
It's
from Baltimore. What you mean?
Because he's that dude. That's why. He is that dude. That's why.
6'12".
Because he's that.
I'm trying to figure out. There's no way in the world you would have convinced me that Solo Sikoa would turn, and not just Solo Sikoa, his bloodline. And I say his bloodline because it's like, wait a minute. They all acknowledge him as the tribal chief. I feel deceived. It's because I was under the impression We all said this. We said, "What's next for Solo, Cole, and Bloodline?" We said, "Well, it's probably going to be about Solo." I don't remember which one of you brothers might have said it. One of y'all might have said, like, I don't know, he might be beef for Roman. Like, no, he's not going to beef for Roman. He's a little brother. He's not beef for Roman. He's going to hold it down till Roman gets back, and he's going to do it to prove to Roman, like, Roman, I held things down to you. No, he cut their promo that Friday before Money in the Bank and said, "I'm the tribal chief because Roman couldn't get the job done." I said, "Wait a goddamn minute here."
Hey,
I said,
he's not scared of Roman. He showed us he's not scared of Roman.
He been showed that. He been showed that.
He's not scared of him, which is going to make Roman Reigns that much more dangerous.
I was like, wait a minute. This is not what I thought was about to happen. What is going on? I was like, no. I thought he was just going to hold it. Now I'm like, so who? First of all, who sent Solo? I still want to know that. Second of all, why did he go get the Gorillas of Destiny, and why did he go get Jacob for 2? And why did he go? And first of all, there's like 10 more Russ and Simone still available, right?
Ready.
They just said, "We ready? You need
just
to
wait for the call."
We'll take a 6-month contract.
It's going to be like the Bullet Club. Just rinse it. Just you bring them in, you put them out, you add new names to it. It's going to keep going until because they have enough wrestling in their family where they could really. They really could do another Bloodline right now.
For like the next 50 years, they're good.
Bro,
at least
ridiculous. They just multiplying and getting into the industry. But I was like, okay, after watching that, little Adam owes me $6 because he bet me that Roman Reigns is going to come back at Money in the Bank, and he didn't, which reminds me.
Oh.
Where's his wallet? Because I want that $6. So
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Because he was running his mouth real bad. Like I'm proud. I said, bro, he's not coming back. No, I'm telling you. I said, no. I want that $6. I'm getting that $6.
Hey, you know how the kids get. You know exactly how those kids get there.
But Roman Reigns, I am convinced, gentlemen, he is going to return to SummerSlam. He has to. SummerSlam is the biggest party of the summer. It's the next big pay-per-view. PLE, excuse me, I keep saying pay-per-view. He and first of all, how did Solo get in this match with Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship? We remember when Solo was kind of running the Bloodline. He said he's getting on. Him and Dominic Mysterio. We talked about those guys. We said these guys are getting on the job training right now. They're in graduate school.
Former North American champions, both of them.
Exactly. So Solo was he was working with heavy hitters early. You know what I mean? Yeah. Randy Orton's and John Cena's. I was like, yo, he's getting like they must got high hopes for him because he's working with all them early. And look at him now. I never thought he was going to be a focal point in a main event of a major PLE. Not to mention he got the pin over Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank. I said, what's going on? I'm confused right now. I thought I was completely swerved. Brothers, were you swerved about the whole ending of Money in the Bank? Did you think that this is the direction that Solo was going in? Because I'm telling you right now, I didn't see it coming.
First of all, has he won a match yet? A single match?
Yet.
Exactly. He's been the X-Pac of the group. He's been the one taking the bumps. And now you in charge all of a sudden?
Hey, man.
Well, he got his wins early. Remember, he was getting a lot of wins until then Cody beat him. So
he got all his wins as a street champ when he was still wearing black and white NXT because
no shoes Solo.
And then of course, the win over John Cena back at the paper.
Yeah, that too.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters then, right?
Yeah, so he got big wins early so that he could take these L's and now get the big win on Saturday. Mm-hmm.
But did you go ahead?
So you expect us to really believe that he's going to be Cody Raheem?
No, that's the twist. We're expecting to believe that something's finna go down.
Okay.
In true Bloodline fashion.
You're right.
So I thought that Jacob Fatu was going to get the pin over somebody, not Cody, but over like Randy or Kevin to set up his SummerSlam match. Like as much as like Hugh said, and I really want to see it now. I want to see Kevin Owens and Jacob at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that match will be fire, bro. Crazy.
That's why I thought he would have got the pin. The pin, either Randy or him, because like think about it, Randy is like, I'm good right now. Randy has even been in a singles match since he became jacked up Randy.
I don't think any major programming. I'm sure he has.
He's chilling. He said, "I'm a 14-time champion. I'm all right. Let me go
Yeah,
ahead
because
and make money."
you got to protect the assets. You know what I mean? So shout out to Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that's why I thought Jacob would. Like, I was impressed, but I feel like he's been, I don't want to say watered down. They put some training wheels on Jacob right now because they don't want to unleash him too much right now. And they gave us a taste.
He showed off in the match, though. He definitely he had all the highlights of the match.
He did.
Yes.
And they are holding him back because I'm like, yeah, he holding back because there's some stuff that like for instance, like when he did like the whisper in the wind when he ran up and jumped. Usually he would have did that like 10 times before the match, like before he even got in the ring.
That is true. That is true.
For highlights. You know what I'm saying? You like goodness, and this was back when he was 40 pounds heavier. So I'm like, yeah, you could definitely tell me that just slow down, at the right time, right place. That whisper in the wind, I was like, yo, what did he just do?
And it came out of nowhere too. He just it was clean. So I just thought that he would have got the pin, but I didn't. If you would have told me, not even a month ago, 3 months ago, Solo was going to pin Cody Raheem, I would be like, no, he's not. He's not. But I'm like, oh, no. Yeah. Well, after they did that to Paul Heyman, I said anything is possible.
Yeah.
At this point, when they did it to Paul, I said anything is possible because Paul Heyman, he better get an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in a reality show, whatever it is category WWE is considered. Because when he said, "I acknowledge that you are not my tribal chief," I said, "Paul Heyman just knows how to." He just knows. And then I said, "Oh, he took 2 bumps." They said, "Oh, it's right." And what you call it? I said, "Go ahead, Heyman." So
he's gonna be off TV for a while. Yeah, he's gonna be off TV until at least August.
Until SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. Because what do you think? What are you thinking, brother Hugh? How do you feel about this whole situation? Because I'm telling you right now, I keep saying it over and over again. Caught me off guard, and I'm embarrassed about it because I've been watching wrestling a long time.
Yeah, it caught me off guard too a little bit, but I mean, it makes all the sense in the world now the way it's being played out. But I keep saying it. I'm just eager to see what's next. How
Friday is going to be insane.
How's Roman going to act? What's really going on? Is Jacob really his enforcer? Is he that wild card? Is he the one that's going to end up turning on Solo? Because I was getting those kind of vibes too. So I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on. And then you have the whole Jimmy and Jay aspect of it, and it's like you just don't know what's next. But I'm looking forward to Roman coming back.
Jimmy's cleared.
Oh yeah. I'm just looking forward to Roman coming back and just wreaking havoc, man. What do you say? We just smash him, stack him, and smash him, or whatever.
I don't think it happens that fast.
Okay, it won't. But yeah.
Right. I think he comes in and slow burns. Like, so you've been talking, like you seeing all these promos and stuff. I think Roman will give him a little bit of time to explain himself. We'll get a couple cliffhangers. Now y'all got me intrigued with the whole Jacob of it all, because the difference is, Solo at first was getting tungans, where Jacob is a Fatu.
Exactly.
So him and the Usos are first cousins. So now I'm like,
their fathers and brothers.
Yeah, what if?
I didn't realize Tonga Kid and Rikishi was brothers.
Yeah,
I didn't either until that.
Yeah, right.
Look at their mouth. Pause. They look, you can see it.
Like when you look at them, like you like,
split
okay,
image.
Yeah.
Is that why Jacob Fatu's pants are the Wild Samoan? I mean, the Wild. That's the same symbol they had, isn't it?
I believe so.
The Samoan flag. I mean, the tree.
Well, it's the top part of it. Yeah, but not the whole tree, just the top part of it. Wasn't that the Wild Samoan? Yeah, it was their symbol.
There's in the Hit Shrinkers.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm thinking about the Hit Shrinkers.
And then Jay did it because he said it in the docuseries, little documentary piece, that it means something. But yeah, so now I'm intrigued because it could be a thing where, but I mean, regardless of what, he got to get right with his brothers, he got to get right with the Usos. Jay, he doing his thing, but he yeeting and leaving.
I would say maybe.
Hey boy,
there's a reason they have
that sounds crazy.
So let me get that. So I'm in PA, right? And I'm watching not SummerSlam, but Money in the Bank, and I'm going back and forth. I'm in a group text with my father and my brother, and they're the reason I got into wrestling anyway. And my father's like, first of all, I forgot. I didn't realize the pay-per-view really started at 7. I was like, that's
right.
My father was like, is SmackDown on tonight? I was like, nah, we got the thing tonight. But he was like, oh, okay, well, what's this? And I was like, holy crap, the show started already. I thought it was doing pre-show.
I thought so too. It got me good. It was like 7:05. I was like, oh, actual match.
Usually they do a lot of bluffing. They're like, oh, the show starts at 7. Like, no, you're gonna sit there and talk for an hour and the show starts at 8. You're not gonna get me. So then I was like, oh shoot, let me turn to it. And my brother's like, he just puts in there yeet real big in all caps. And I was like, no, and he just kept going yeet, and we was going back and forth for like 6 messages straight, just yeets and yeah. And my father was like, y'all crazy. Like, nah, he think he tripping. I really was like, LA Knight was gonna win. So after the match, Jay Uso does it. When he goes, man, when he gonna put Jay Uso on? He was so frustrated. But I was like, you know what? Maybe this whole bloodline situation is the reason why they haven't pulled the trigger on Jay.
Absolutely.
So everybody's like, oh, he's big, he's second baby face, he sells t-shirts. I'm like, yeah, that's true and all, but sometimes Triple H has already said it. Sometimes they got their plans already in place. They're not gonna be like, all right, well, let's just run plans, and that's the Tony Khan way of doing things. You know what I mean? Let's just get the fans what they want right now. It's like, no, we got a plan that we're trying to get to. Like, yeah, I know he's over. I know he's because think about it. Look at Damian Priest. Damian Priest. I'm starting to think that Bad Bunny was the one that carried him in that match, to be honest with you. I'm not going to
he said that.
Because you remember, he looked like $1 million in that match, right? And I'm like, but
I watched it earlier. He did though. Yes.
You feel me? I'm not seeing that level of that anywhere else. Like, even since he's been world champion, I'm like, bro, what happened to that? And I'm like, you know what? It might have been Bad Bunny carrying the match, but but you know, we said, oh yeah, Damian Priest is ready. He's up next. But then all that stuff happened, and we were like, dang, he got to get to the back of the line. Even to the point when he won his chance to win the briefcase, we were like, you know, like we want to see other stuff right now. We're not really interested in Damian like he was a couple months ago. You know what I mean? But it's like once people have their plans in place, they go through them because clearly Damian Priest is still World Heavyweight Champion. He's going to SummerSlam to face my guy Gunta, where he shall be dethroned. But yeah, so it's like, okay, cool. Maybe this is the reason they haven't pulled the trigger on Jey Uso, because maybe there's something going on with this whole bloodline. Maybe this isn't as finished as we think it is. I never thought we would be having a conversation about Roman Reigns returning and him potentially being a face. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's just going to kill Cody Rhodes. How are they going to pull this one off?
Exactly.
I'm like, wait a minute, Cody's supposed to be the biggest face. He was supposed to be the biggest hit. What were you saying, Brian H?
Yeah, it's going to be a way they team up.
I was about to say that. Yes, it's going to happen.
You can't beat me. You're not beating. You got a hard time beating one of them by themselves. You're not beating both of them together.
Hey,
and with the wise man in the corner, the wise man for real.
They might mess around and bring Brock Lesnar out too.
So Brock Lesnar, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline. It's over.
Enemies become allies.
Right.
Bad blood, the main event.
The match is going to be over in 10 minutes.
That's true. That is true.
So that being said, we're gonna get ready to close this showdown. But man, Roman Reigns, I'm guarantee you, is going to return at SummerSlam in some way, shape, or form or fashion. Anybody agree or disagree? Do you guys think Roman Reigns is going to return at SummerSlam?
I think what we're going to get is the match is over. They're beating down Cody Raheem. The music hits and Solo is frozen. Like, shoot. Because you know how at the end of Roman matches, how the next challenger will come?
Yeah.
And they're looking like, is he coming to save Cody or is he coming to address Solo? And that's when we're going to get the holy when he comes down. You know what I mean? Like,
how do you do that knowing that Cody's not going to lose?
That's what I'm saying. Cody wins, but he's getting beat down.
They get jumped at the end.
Yeah, and here comes the tribal chief. And he's like, oh, God, is he coming to help Cody or is he coming to go get the Solo's face?
That's a good question.
And then it goes off.
What about you, Brian H? What's are we getting a WCW finish? Goes off while action's still going on?
Nah, I don't think it's gonna be that bad. I think I've been seeing for some reason like Rock and Roman the way that first time when they slow walk to each other. I can see something like that with Roman and Cody, Roman and Solo. But it's weird because it's like wouldn't you want to advertise? It's a stadium show, so it's like you want to advertise Roman's there, but then the product is so strong that you kind of
that's the icing on the cake.
To.
Think like they got John Cena that's probably gonna make an appearance.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, that's the icing on the cake, and plus do it with the bumper on the screen, thinking the show's over, and and him solo doing this, and then you hear dun dun dun, the WrestleMania, and then he comes down to the ring, and Solo's like,
and not coming down to that music.
I was about to say, I hope that don't sound like that, but okay.
I think the first thing you hear probably is "Ladies and gentlemen." Everybody's going to use their mind.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say.
Or you hear Jimmy music first, and then Roman come out, and them two go to the ring together.
Yeah, I don't know.
He got some beef.
I think that Roman returns as an anti-hero. Like, I'm not here to be loved. I'm here to be in charge. I don't care about being I don't think he'll be a traditional face because it's too much money in him being who he is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
I just don't think it's so much simple. Come down, boom, boom, beat him up.
I say he's gonna beat him up. He's not even gonna touch him. It's gonna be a stare down to keep.
But where did it go though?
Oh, we'll figure that out on SmackDown.
Trial by combat.
I don't care. He just comes back as a stare down. Because whatever we think now, Triple H is going to swerve us to the point that we ain't see that coming.
That's what I'm saying, yo. That's why I don't trust Triple H. That's why
I don't trust him because he keeps taking shots at the other company in such subtle ways.
You hear that?
When he put Vought on the Money in the Bank briefcase and Cody Rhodes had those promos with Homelander, I said, oh my God, Tony Khan is probably like, this is why I hate Triple H. Remember the comparison of Cody to Homelander during his AEW days?
Yeah.
I said he leaned all the way in on it. I was like, oh man, he is taking all of the shots.
I don't know what Anthony Khan has said over there or done, but they pissed somebody off. Triple said, "Trish, you see this? Oh, okay." And now they're going all the way in, even like in Tama Tonga's shirt that he wore for like one time.
The MJF shirt?
You saw it? Yes.
The MFT, like he wore it one time. Like, what the heck? Like, what's up with you? But
you don't troll the trolls.
Yeah.
You're not gonna beat them.
No. You're not gonna beat no, you're not gonna beat you're not gonna beat Triple H at his own game. We said it before. No. We said Tony Khan is lucky. If he has to ever compete with Triple H, he's in trouble. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Look, Steph already said she saw the shirt and she had to look at it twice. Everybody's like, wait, what is this?
I was like, is he wearing MJF? Oh, MFT. I was like, is he wearing an MJF shirt? I was like, oh, that's not.
I was like, really? Same fun? Okay, that's how we doing it. All right, Triple H, you got it. You got it.
You know what he's doing. He said, you want to take shots? Remember, I drove a tank to WCW.
Yeah. See, people forget Triple H's history. But I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put a lot of things past DX and all that they do. But I am convinced that Roman Reigns is going to return at SummerSlam, and we are going to return next week to discuss whatever the heck we decide to discuss next week. We want to thank you all for joining us. Please follow us on all our social media platforms at Wrestling Realm. Subscribe to Patreon, Twitch, YouTube channel at the Wrestling Realm. You can follow Championship Culture at Championship Culture _ on Instagram as well. Gentlemen, any last words before we step out of here and reponder what Triple H is trying to do to swerve us next?
Who?
Everybody has a story.
Thank you.
I don't know why I have felt the urge just to show this. Just shall appear. Well,
yes.
Not us.
Yes.
We will appear next week. So, adios, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you next time. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. We out. Peace.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes!